And we're heading in with part 7 of Rasputin's Reliquary build, and we're going to be touching on some electronics today. So the reservoir is pretty much done. It's dried. I just need to clean up the glass a little bit. I'm very stupid though, because I got to work on this bottom part with the wire hanging off of it, which would have been way easier had I not glued it onto a giant cylinder. That is just hindsight 2020. So looking at this little tail I got here, this is all the wire that I currently have to work with. My overall concept, however, which is something I thought about in the pre-planning stage, was to basically have all the electronic housing, this circuit board essentially, being housed up here in the skull, and then we just hollow out the body, snake this long white wire all the way down to the bottom, that way it can be plugged into an external source. However, that's easy with this wire. And then I gotta extend this. So I bought a bunch of little wire extenders, and we're gonna try to make that happen today. The task before me seems incredibly simple. All I need to do is take the wire and make it longer. Overall, that does not seem very hard, as I said. But the thing is, I just need to make sure I don't mess with the housing of the original motors, and that original tail of a wire just needs to stay as pristine as can be. That way I could just disconnect the entire thing and just toss away the scrap if I happen to fuck it up. My current annoying issue that I have is basically the connectors that I purchased don't really fit. They're the same size, however, if you look at this, this is the female plug. This is the male plug. The housings do not match, which is annoying, mostly because this one is more like a base connector. So looking at the overall circuit board, it connects onto those bare wires right there. So I decided I basically was going to chop off the housing and have it like this. So it's just like a regular little plug now. So hopefully this will not be a problem, but like I said, we're winging it, so we're gonna go ahead and see what happens. Alright, well, she's ugly, so let's just go ahead and see what happens. I am so incredibly relieved that my stupid daisy chain fucking worked. We had a little bit of an issue, so I lost some recordings. Unfortunate, but just to recap, my original intent was to not cut these open, but was to take this little copper wire here and ram them down, breaking down the supports, and then I would take a piece of string and fish the electronics through the opening to basically the hole there, and then the hole at the end of that little cut there. Issue is, the supports kept getting bunched up. This one I actually managed to do it. This one did not work too well because the curvature was just not cooperating. So we had to do emergency surgery and just cut all these things open. So now, as you can see, there's powder everywhere on them. We got to go ahead and let these dry after I wash them and get the powder all cleaned up. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to revisit the electronics another day. We are returning to the gemstones from last week or 2 weeks ago. Either which way, the color turned out way better. At the top 3 here, those are our first generations. These are our second generations. These still showed up with way more blemishes on them or so I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong to cause these things. But we're not gonna let them go to waste. We're gonna practice doing some backing, because last time we talked about doing a reflective backing on the backside of these gems to try to give them more of a gemstone shine. Some people mentioned gum wrappers. I don't chew gum, so we're gonna stick with good old-fashioned aluminum foil. So my current method is basically to cut out aluminum foil in 1-inch grid patterns, use the old print as a base, kind of wedge it on there. I'm not going to do it with one hand, but eventually if you press down with the gemstone, you get a nice little cup shape. So basically, there's our backing. We just got to figure out what we're going to do to glue the gemstone to it. My first glue, or in glue in quotes, is going to be this clear nail gel. It worked pretty good on this pink one to help kind of hide some of the blemishes and make it kind of reflective, so I think that'll be a good base. It's already clear, so let's just go ahead and give that a shot. So got myself a good dollop here, just kind of get it up. I'm gonna have to let go and free up my hand. Cannot really tell, but I just smeared the inside of that all around with the gel, drop the gemstone in there, give that a good solid push, and then this will be our control for this one. So That's one done. Let's try a different option. Next, we're going to go with just the old humble glue stick here. Dries clear, so that's kind of what I'm going for. Anything that has a clear adhesive property to it. Looking through all my adhesives, we got super glue as well, so that's also going to be in the running. And for the fourth contender, we got the flex glue here. It's the same glue we used on the reservoir to seal it up, and we still got some in the tube, so let's go ahead and give that a proper shot. And so we have our amazing talent here in the great glue race of 2026. Who will be the victor? Only time will tell. No, seriously, we need to let this dry for a couple hours. Alright, looking at all these ones, it's now the next day. The glue stick is the only absolute failure. The gem pops right out. It didn't even stick to it. Everything else is kind of about the same. So this one, I got a light right here that I'm kind of shining on the inside of it, trying to get the light to refract. Only thing I can really tell is across all of them, the ones with the aluminum are slightly darker, but they don't really have any reflective properties to it. So while this may be a merit just to kind of get them a little bit darker, I'm not too pleased with kind of any of the results. So I'm going to try printing out another set of these, try to get them a little bit cleaner, and then maybe they'll do better. But as of right now, this seems to be kind of more or less just an optional kind of addition. So I saw a video the other day about basically small LED lightsabers, and I ended up buying a few of these. I think they're like fishing lights that you put on the end of your fishing pole to see where your tip is. But I got those, and I got some of these little, like, very flexible, almost rubbery LED strips, so I'll show you what those look like. So to kind of show you how these work, so they got these prongs right here, and I got the battery, so they just got to connect one to the positive on the top there, and the other one just has to touch the base at some point in time. They're not supposed to flicker. That's mostly because I don't have a solid connection with my hand there, but I'm hoping I can just string these together and make one giant loop. But we're going to look at the computer board for a second. I'm hoping I could scavenge some more off this computer board because I might be able to get them to fit in this socket right here. If all they really need is just a positive charge and a negative charge, then I might be able to basically attach them to these two wires. This wire is already an LED strip, which is a single light on it. So I'm hoping that with it being just connected to the main line, that will be my source of the power. So I might have just bought these freaking lights for nothing. And that is part 7, my friends. So part 8 is going to be, I have no idea. The reservoir is going to remain empty for the foreseeable future. I don't want to fill this until it's like the final episode, because the only port that I got to fill things and empty it out is going to be that hole right there, and it's going to be a pain in the butt if I do it wrong. So I'm just going to take my time on that. I'm not going to worry about it beforehand. I already have the materials for it, but mostly I just apologize that I keep pitching this liquid episode, and I won't do that until we're finally done. Next one, I might play with the electronics some more, like I mentioned, trying to get those LED rubber snakes to light up all properly. But yeah, no, just stay tuned and just follow the journey.